Good evening and welcome back to the channel. Wow, what a night. Have to get a beer. And by the way, yes, it is only 50 cent. Doom, doom. 50 cent for a beer, which is equates to around about 42 pence a tin for Amsterdam. Anyway, what an absolutely fantastic night. Celtic have just beaten Chelsea. Yes, Celtic have just beaten Chelsea 4-1. If you right, wait a minute. Wait. Why does that sound so bad? Filters down, up that, threshold down a bit. Expander, release, attack, ratio. And about, yes. Up for that. And that there. Yes, and then up for that. That's the gain. And then that should sound better. Anyway, DJ Singy's in the house. Absolutely fantastic. Yeah, that sounds a bit better. Hey, sorry, this microphone. It's a pain in the tits. 4-1. What an absolutely fantastic evening. No one predicted, absolutely no one. Yeah, no one predicted that. No one on the channel predicted that. I thought it would be 2-2. And I'll tell you one thing, I'm not impressed with Chelsea at all. Not impressed with Chelsea at all. The good things from Celtic. Let's talk about Celtic first of all. It's all about Celtic. The good things from Celtic. Cameron Carter-Vickers slipping back into the team the way he was. I thought that Tony Ralston has enjoyed the fact that he had so much game time at the Euros, and he looks to have taken confidence from that. I thought the Kasper Schmeichel, what a keeper. What a keeper. What a keeper we have in Kasper Schmeichel. So much for the hotshot Englanders. Exactly, DJ Siggy. So much for the hotshot Englanders. We have beaten Manchester City and we've beaten Chelsea this summer. Now, I know you're going to say it's bad. It's pre-season. It means nothing. Well, I'll take my 50 cent beer and I'll say that is English tears. In Amstel. Anyway, Kasper Schmeichel, for me, he did a couple of things that were amazing tonight. Absolutely amazing. That Joe Hart would never have done. And even the guy that owns the pub that we're at even said at one point, he was like, wow, did you see what Kasper did there? And he moved the ball out quick. When there was a corner, and the ball came in and Schmeichel got it, Kasper Schmeichel got the ball out really quick to a winger. That would never have happened. And maybe this is the changes. Maybe this is the subtle changes that Brendan Rodgers has been talking about. Maybe this is the subtle changes that Brendan Rodgers has brought about because he trusts Kasper Schmeichel, because he trusts him as a goalkeeper and he knows how to play. And I tell you one thing, another thing I want to talk about the Celtic team tonight. There was no Brendan ball. When you look at the first half, and I said it to the missus, and I said it to Donnie, who runs Sheeran's bar. I was like, "It's one touch pass. You know, it was good. It was good. It was everything that you want. Now, should we get carried away because it's a pre-season game? You could tell that we were ahead of them fitness-wise, because let's face it, they were blown out their arse the second half. It'd be a completely different game if it was a Champions League. Schmeichel can play it on the deck. Hart couldn't he? DJ Singy, you're absolutely spot on. Schmeichel, wow. Could you imagine if we'd got him here 3 years ago? Joe Hart stayed for 3 years. Could you imagine if we'd got Schmeichel 3 years ago? How things might have changed. I am looking forward to the Champions League with Schmeichel in goals, due to the fact that seems to have a level of composure that was sometimes missing with Joe Hart. There was a ball that Joe Hart would have passed out to Liam Scales, but Schmeichel missed out Liam Scales completely and passed it straight out to Greg Taylor, even though the easy ball would have been to give it to Scales. And it was in those bomb scare moments, and the missus went, bomb scare? Are you just making shit up now? Are you just making phrases up? And I had to explain to her the whole bomb scare thing. I thought it was a fantastic performance by Celtic tonight. I wanted a big game performance. I got a big game performance. I wanted a big game performance from your big game players. Matt O'Reilly, I thought he needed a big game to score that goal against Chelsea, and on the edge of the box was just adding 25 million all day long. If you want to come and get Matt O'Reilly, you will not get to the table until you put a £25 million offer down. Simple. Celtic need to go out and say that. Brendan Rodgers said just the other day that Kyogo isn't for sale. If Brendan Rodgers comes out and says, if anyone wants Matt O'Reilly, you need to put 25 million on the table first. And that's the starting point. That is the starting point. I've been a big critic of Matt O'Reilly, and is his head still in it? Yes, his head's still in it. I think that if we can keep Matt O'Reilly for the Champions League, he will sell for 25 to 30 million all day long. DJ Singer says, we need a centre-back and left-back and a striker though. Yes, we do. We spoke about that before the game tonight. We spoke about the fact that the inadequacies of the Celtic board to get the players in that we need. The fact that we had to start with Ralston tonight, I thought Ralston actually had a good game, although he was caught missing a couple of times. Just typical Ralston type stuff. Greg Taylor, is he the answer? He's adequate in the SPFL. He can take us, but I thought that a good point. Young Anderson came on for Greg Taylor, and I thought he'd done himself quite no harm whatsoever. Looking forward, the young players that we have at Celtic, I think there was Gustav Lagerbielke getting game time is complete. Ian Roy, big shout out to Ian Roy. He's just given us $4 for the chat. Aussie Online says we can't let Matt go. He's good. Even if we buy someone that's as good on our budget, get him a wage rise. Matt O'Reilly was just given a wage rise last year. I think Celtic, if I was in charge at Celtic, I'd put Matt O'Reilly on 45 grand a week, and I'd make him sign another extension to his contract, so that he had now 6 years to go on his contract. And that's a serious thing. If I was the finance director, and if I was Nicholson, right now, I would turn around, and if I was Brendan Rodgers and Nicholson and the finance guy, I would turn around to Matt O'Reilly and go, right, we're going to give you a wage rise. You're not getting sold this summer. You are not getting sold this summer. There's 45 grand a week, right? There's 45 grand a week. And we're going to build a team around you over the next 3 transfer windows. And then we'll sell you in 1.5 years' time. Fair play, Matt? And I think Matt O'Reilly would go, yeah. If you can bring in a quality player, and I don't mean bringing in prospects. We brought in the prospects of the second half. Lagerbielke showed Lagerbielke's level, and it's probably B Team Celtic level, being all honest. And it's no wonder that the Brendan Rodgers wants to get rid of Lagerbielke and Kobe Ashe. Greg Taylor, I thought Greg Taylor was actually good tonight. I thought Greg Taylor, and I said this. I said, look, if we bring in a left back on loan, there's one of two things will happen. And Greg Taylor's done it before. Greg Taylor will go, wait a minute, oh, yeah, that's my pint, hold it till the end of the season, because you're not getting this shirt off me. and I said, and I did say this, I said, we do need a left back, but Greg Taylor, he was caught out of position a couple of times, and that's maybe a concern. He was playing more as a central defender, as a central defensive midfield player. He was in that holding role position that Callum wasn't playing in tonight, because Callum was a little bit further forward. So maybe that's the little tweaks that the manager has done. Maybe that's the little tweaks that Brendan Rodgers has done. It's like, right, what we're going to do is we're going to bring Greg into that holding midfield role that Callum McGregor sits in, and then that's going to allow Callum McGregor to go further up on the left hand side of the midfield, which gives us a better attacking midfield. It allows us to then go from a 3 in midfield to maybe a 4 in midfield, because you've then got Rio Hatate, Callum McGregor on the left, and then you've got Matt O'Reilly, and then you've got the 2 wingers, which is a clever move by Brendan Rodgers, if that's the way that we're going to go this season. It allows Greg Taylor to sit in that defensive midfield role, but what it does do also is it opens up that left back position. Do we need a left-sided defender? Yes, ultimately we do. We need a left-sided defender that can push Liam Scales to become an even better player. If Greg Taylor has it within his ability to improve as a player, I think Liam Scales has that also. Now, if we do bring in the Spanish Bueno on loan, I think that can only help Greg Taylor. And if he's better than Greg Taylor will know that this guy is going to try and steal his jumper. And let's just see where this season goes. Are we ready for the Champions League? I said in the live before, this is a massive game. This is a massive game. Although Chelsea are not in the Champions League, this is the quality of teams that we will come up against in the Champions League. It's a big test tonight. And Celtic passed with flying fucking colours. Here's the Glasgow Celtic. Celtic passed every test that I asked of the team in the first half. Every single test, they passed it. Chelsea started the game quick. And Greg Taylor managed to get the ball out. I thought, here we go, we're under the cosh. We're under the cosh for about the first 8 to 15 minutes of the game. And you're thinking, okay, that's fine. You're expecting a top level team to do that to us. You're expecting Chelsea to do that. They're English Premiership. You know, they've got aspirations to win the Premier League. They've got aspirations to play in the Champions League. They have a level of cash that is foreign to Celtic for buying players. So you're expecting a level to be a little bit above us. And for the first 8 to 15 minutes, I thought they were. But then Celtic kind of found their own. Celtic came into the game a bit. And the one-touch pass that Brendan Rodgers wants the Celtic team to play, not the side-to-side Brendan ball stuff that people go on about. There was a lot in the first half. It was beautiful. Do you know what? It was one-touch pass, maybe one-touch, two-touch pass. But it was quick-paced football. And this is the Celtic that we love to watch. Brendan Rodgers ended the summer tour in America not being beaten by an English team. Now, whilst Rangers can say that they drew 4-4 with Union Berlin, they probably grabbed a trophy and they thought, yeah, we are champions again. Celtic had a massive test tonight and they passed that test with flying colours. Gladly. I'm so over the moon that I can come on here tonight and say, I said in the live before, it's a massive test for Celtic. Massive. Don't underestimate the level of the game tonight. It is only a pre-season, and don't get overexcited about a pre-season game, but when it came to it, Celtic held their own. Now, when the changes were made in the second half, obviously Cameron Carter-Vickers came off in the 60th minute. Vickers came off in the 60th minute. And what was interesting, the choice by Brendan Rodgers, and obviously looking forward to the rest of the season going forward, before any new players come in the defensive area, the fact that Stephen Welsh was picked again before Kobayashi and Gustav Lagerbielke. Now, I did say in this morning's video that it was a shock fucking transfer. that was a shock offer came in for Welsh, and it was a shock offer. I don't think Celtic were expecting anybody to come in for Welsh this season. The fact that Stephen Welsh has just signed a new 5-year contract, and people will say, yeah, but he's not getting first team football, so teams are going to come in and say, oh, we'll try and take him on loan. He's not a young player. Welsh isn't a young player. Welsh actually came in, and the consistency of the game at that point was still good. Now, when we get to the end of the game, 8 to 9 minutes, Celtic are winning 4-0, and then they get a penalty. It was never a penalty. Never a penalty. But they took advantage of the fact that it was younger players that were in the Celtic team at that point, and I thought that the young guys held their own. I think Lawwell, Mohamed Bosun Lawwell, I think that he had one pass that he tried to put out to the wing that just didn't come off. It'll be interesting to see what Brendan Rodgers does with the younger players that were in the squad for America. He knows that they won't get first team football. Will they go out to Admiral Wacker? Will 3 players, it's been suggested that 3 players will head out to Admiral Wacker this season. Will some of the younger players head to Scott Brown's team? Will some of the younger players head there? And then we need to talk about the Mikey Johnston question. The Mikey Johnston question. Yes, Mikey Johnston scores again. Mikey Johnston scores again. Let's jump into some of the comments and see what you're all saying in the comment section. Wait till I just turn this light down because it is a bit bright. There we go. And then I'll eat my bit of chocolate and drink the beer. Chrissy Russell says, time and time again. Time and time again. Yep, every time. DJ Shane says, O'Reilly should do what Dev Petrov done. Sign a lucrative contract knowing that it'll take money, big money, and it'll benefit him and the club. Yeah, I think so as well. DJ Singh, you're a man after my heart. I think that he should go down the road that Petrov took. Sign a big lucrative contract, 45 grand a week. Give him 45 grand a week. Jota, it was alleged that if Jota hadn't been sold, he was going to be given 45 grand a week. I put Matt O'Reilly up there with that level of player. I think the only downside of this pre-season, if we're going to look at the tour as a complete thing, I think that the only downside of the pre-season for me personally is the fact that young Daniel Kelly wasn't in the fold, because I think Daniel Kelly would have came to fruition as a player. I think he would have improved this pre-season. You can see that the younger guys in the squad know how to play exactly when they get into the first team, and I think Daniel Kelly could retain his game to the next level. Let's just hope that Lanky is right and that Celtic are still in talks with Daniel Kelly, and let's just hope that Daniel Kelly does sign that new contract and it gets into that first team, because I think he'd be a fantastic addition. I think he will be a fantastic addition. I think he could definitely, if I was Daniel Kelly, I would be sitting looking at that squad and I'll say, right, I'll sign a new contract, Celtic, and I'll tell you exactly what player that I'd be looking to replace, and it's Rio Hatate. For as good as Rio Hatate is, I think Daniel Kelly has the opportunity and has it in him as a player to outshine Rio Hatate. And that's a big shout. I know it's a big shout, but I think he does have that. It was Greg Taylor no holding mid at Kilmarnock. I think he might have been. John says Casper, the friendly cat. Hazel67 says Schmeichel definitely makes you feel more relaxed. He does that. It makes me feel more relaxed. Some of the balls that were going out that Joe Hart would have put out, you're thinking, oh Jesus, don't do that. But Casper, I think Schmeichel is before the game you were panicking. Lanky, I was panicking, and rightly so. Are we really in a better... Right, Lanky, answer me this in the comments. Is the squad stronger than the squad that finished last season? Realistically, are we going to go into the season with Mikey Johnston as backup striker? No, it was fair comment to know that the things, I mean, panicking about the season ahead panicking about this game. It was allegedly, it was a top level team that were playing tonight. You've got all this, we are the English Premiership, we are Chelsea, we are the top level team. They wanted to dominate English football for as long as they did when Brendan Rodgers was there under the Jose Mourinho. And so, of course, you're going to think like that. But Celtic held their own. And I also said the questions, the live before the game, that Celtic needed to answer the questions tonight. And Celtic did. And fair play to Brendan Rodgers. Now, fair play to Brendan Rodgers for being the manager that has moulded this team into a team of his own, moulded them into a team that, by the way, defensively, were actually really good. There was at points in the game where we were under the cosh. Under Ange Postecoglou, we would have lost 3 goals. But Ange would turn around and say, but it's okay, because we could have won 4-1. Do you know what I mean? And it was like, we could have lost 2 goals and then the penalty at the end, but we won 4-3. So it doesn't matter. That was Ange's philosophy. I think Brendan Rodgers knows that we need to be more astute when it comes to European football. And hopefully tonight, we've seen that what the manager, Brendan Rodgers, has been working on, and I can't wait to see Paul Baird's comment on this, because I think that what the manager has been working on in pre-season has come into fruition tonight. And it's maybe just a good time. And you won't see it week in, week out in the SPFL, you will not. But when it comes to the Champions League, I think this more defensive-minded Celtic is something that we've not really had before. So it's going to be interesting. So yeah, Lanky, I was before the game, I was panicking a bit, because I thought, I said 2-2. I said 2-2 before the game. Anyway, Aussie Online says, we need to sort out our throw-ins. Yep, we take forever to get the ball in play. Makes things difficult for ourselves. And Walsh says, Lager and Kobe leave. New centre-back will be signed. And Alistair Johnson is on his way back as well. Says Aunt Mary Bonnis says, well done Celtic for playing football the Celtic way. Yes, they did. Ian Roy, who comes in from the States, says, we're ready for the Champions League unless we sign more quality. We're not ready. We're not ready for the Champions League, says Ian. It was a pre-match season. Get real, Baz. I have to get real. It was a pre-match. It was a pre-season game. And yes, the Chelsea players are behind us fitness-wise, but their squad, there's probably about 3 players in their squad that cost. No, I'm not going to get real, because the value of their squad, there's probably about 3 players that are worth the combined value of the complete Celtic squad. So whilst we can all say it's pre-season, I'm going to put it down as a fantastic result for Celtic. And I'm going to put it down as a fantastic performance by Celtic. I'm not going to take away from the lads for what actually happened tonight. I'm not going to sit there and say, no, that was shite. I'm not going to sit there and say that the Scales was pish. I'm not going to pinpoint Callum McGregor had one bad pass, because that bad pass in the middle of a season would get jumped on. So I think that the performance tonight was absolutely fantastic as far as I'm concerned. But it is the One Celtic Fans view, and we all get our view on this channel. We do still need 2 more players in, says Chilpo. Yes, we do. We need more players in. We need more players in that will take the strain off the first team. We do not need players in that are going to be of Gustav Lagerbielke, Kobayashi style players or prospects. I think we do need more players in that will help benefit. And like I said, the only downside that I can see of this pre-season tour in America is that Daniel Kelly wasn't there. Because I think if Daniel Kelly had signed the contract, and if young Daniel Kelly had been in that team, Daniel Kelly would have thrived in these games. When you see some of the young players that came on, young Anderson that came on for Greg Taylor, I thought he was actually quite good. Now, is it the way that Celtic are going to go? Yes, Anderson's maybe one for 2 years down the line. But Brendan Rodgers has to be forward thinking like that. Brendan Rodgers can't just be thinking about this season. Brendan Rodgers can't be thinking just about, these young players are going to come in and do a trick for Celtic this season. They're not. Brendan Rodgers has to be thinking, these players, I can see where they will fit into this Celtic team, But it is 2 years down the line. It's not this season, it's maybe next season. And then you think, yeah, young Anderson can come on and Greg Taylor is maybe then sold on at that point. So anyway, we are unbeaten in this tour, which is absolutely fantastic. But we still need to come down to earth and play shite. Who parked the bus, says John. Yes, we do. And this is why Brendan Rodgers and Callum McGregor have been saying, look, we have been doing things in training so that when we play against teams that have the low block, when you play against teams that have the low block, you will come up against a new type of tactics. We will need to wait. And I did say that maybe Chelsea might park the bus, but they didn't actually. They didn't park the bus. They tried to have a good goal at Celtic, and Celtic upped their game to it. So it will be interesting the first time that we come along, and probably that'll be the next weekend, when we do face that team. I think you would say their name, but yeah, it's the first game of the season, and they'll probably sit and try and do the low block. Daniel Kelly will sign a contract, in my opinion, says Lanky. The next one to replace Bosun, to be part of the development. That's in his opinion. That's in Lanky's opinion. Lanky, have you heard anything? Because you've commented that a few times, so it'll be interesting to see if you have heard anything. Preseason is great, but the real thing starts next Sunday against low blocking teams most weeks. Yes, it is. Stephen, I totally get that, and let's hope that some of the things that have happened in training over this preseason come into fruition. Palmer is not a dancer either. No, he's not. John, you're right. And the fact I'm sitting in a bar that had a few Spanish in it, and Palmer does that thing at the end, even the Spanish were looking and going, what the fuck is he doing? Anyway, Carly says, anyone noticed the weight Clement has lost? No, the black lines around his eyes. The guys are shrinking viral. Oh dear. Chilwell says Daniel Kelly is getting bad advice. Yes, he is that. You can get to fuck if he doesn't want to play for Celtic. Exactly. Lanky says there's plenty of positives for the pre-season games. Now we keep the heat. It is all about keeping the heat, Lanky, but we all want the best for Celtic. We all want the best for Celtic, and we want this club to move further forward faster than it's doing. Now, we do need to keep the heads. Celtic will get in some transfers over the next couple of weeks. I have no doubt about that. Has it been a letdown so far? Let's not bullshit. Let's not paper over the cracks. Let's not say that no, it's been an ideal fucking window. It hasn't. I don't want to go down that road tonight. It's been an absolutely fantastic result. I thought Celtic had a lot of questions to answer, and they answered them. And for me, that's good enough. Even when the young players came on, they played the system the exact same way. They played the positions the same way. But some of the players just aren't good enough. The league will be easy this season. We should get better for the Champions League, says Rob. Rob, that's my point in all these videos. I've said so many times that it's okay winning the league, and people are happy with just winning the league. It's hard to win a treble. You've got to beat what's in front of you. But Celtic over the last couple of years, over the last 10 years anyway, we've been kind of spoiled on how easy it's been to win trebles. Now, when the Rangers died and went into the lower leagues, they did say, oh, Celtic should have won more trebles at that point. But then when Rangers did come back into the league, Celtic upped their game, and that was at the point that Celtic did win trebles. You can only beat what's in front of you in the league on a week-to-week basis. You can only beat the way that teams set up. And if teams in Scotland decide to set up with this low block and try to be defensive and try to stop Celtic play, it's up to Celtic to try and manoeuvre around the teams. And hopefully Brendan Rodgers has done that this pre-season. I'll sleep tonight. Not getting up before 11, says Carly. Reese 1888 says, I'd rather be overconfident than a shite bag. Yes, so would I be. Carly says, Celtic were excellent tonight. They were that. John says, I've seen a team improve its passing possession, also speed that they move at and on the ball. Yes, that is right. Paul Bird says, I don't want Brendan Rodgers, but I want this team to win, Baz. Yes, I know you don't want Brendan Rodgers, and I want the team to win as well. I'm not over the moon with the board that we have, but you can only pish with the cock you've got. And we do have Brendan Rodgers. I think that this team will actually excel this season. I think that the board know that they have the best man in place for the Celtic job, but the board ultimately need to back the manager. We need to bring in better players. The limited expectations I have for the Champions League this season is to win 3 games. We need to win 3 games because of the coefficient. It is not good enough for Celtic to be so far down the coefficient table. We need to be qualifying automatically year in, year out for the Champions League. And for that to happen, Celtic need to improve in the transfer market. It's been an absolutely fantastic pre-season. Next Sunday sees us get down to business. Let's get down to business. Hell yeah! Anyway, that's enough of that. The treble is on, says Ian. I think the treble is on also. Pat McGuire says 3 this week in. John says we don't have any cameo of the Doug and no, or the Hand of God. Hope she's well. And the Hand of God is actually in bed reading a book because she is working at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. It is 3 minutes to 1 in the morning with me here in Spain. It is 3 minutes to 12 with you at Celtic Park time. It is wherever you are in the world. Carly says, I fucking prayed for no injuries too. I prayed for injuries also. Let's pump the diet Huns, says Jeff. And Jambo says Berlin. They're just back in training. Now, I didn't even know who they were playing. I actually looked at the Rangers because people were saying that, yeah, they scored 4 goals, but they also lost 4 goals against Union Berlin. Was the ex-Celtic player Joseph Juranovic playing for them? I don't really care, to be honest. The treble is on. Celtic pre-season is over. Celtic will travel back to Glasgow in the next 24 hours. And then it's back to Lennoxtown and back to business. Getting ready for the season ahead. What a fantastic season it's going to be. Celtic have the chance to become champions again come May. Brendan Rodgers will say to the fans, trust me, trust in the way that I want to play, trust that it's not side to side passing Brendan ball, it's fast attacking pace football, and I want to bring success to Celtic. And let's hope the next May we're sitting here with a treble in our hands and we've got that 55th title. And we can sit and say that we truly are the best fucking team in Scotland. And on that note, have an absolutely fantastic evening to all you Celtic fans and everyone that subscribes to this channel. Thank you. It means so much to me. And to all the naysayers, I don't give a shit about you. I'm drinking 50 cent fucking Amstel beer. I'm going to finish this and I'm going to have a nice night. Wherever you are around the world, you have a nice night also. God bless, take care, and I love every single one of you.